Hey, what's going on, guys? It's your boy, Nerd Mode On, and welcome to episode 15 of Battle Reports, a video series where I'll be going over a particular weapon in Battlefield 1 and breaking down the statistics of the weapon to provide you guys with a better idea of how the weapon will perform on the battlefield. So for today's episode, we're actually going to be taking a look at the M1909 Benet-Mercie. Now, of course, in real life, it's more commonly known as the Hotchkiss M1909 Benet-Mercie. Now, just in case you guys are not very familiar with this weapon, let's briefly talk about the historical relevance of this particular weapon during this period. The Hotchkiss M1909 machine gun was a French-designed light machine gun of the early 20th century. It was known on the battlefield as the Hotchkiss Mark I, the Hotchkiss Portive, and the M1909 Benet-Mercie. The light machine gun fired the 8mm Lebel round. However, the French military would not issue this weapon as a standard infantry weapon. The 700 manufactured machine guns would be used in the fortress at Verdun in a defense capacity. The light machine gun was adopted by the United States in 1909 as the Benet-Mercie machine rifle. The name comes from three sources. For starters, the name of the American who founded the company in France was Benjamin B. Hotchkiss. In addition, the two main designers were Lawrence Benet and Henry Mercie. This light machine gun was used by France and Britain throughout World War I and on to World War II. Moreover, the United States forces used this weapon at the Battle of Columbus in 1916. The United States had only 4 guns which fired 20,000 rounds in that engagement. The soldiers that operated these weapons quickly noticed that the firing pins and extractors broke frequently. The press for the United States called the M1909 the daylight gun because of the difficulty in replacing the broken parts at night and jams caused when loading strips were accidentally inserted upside down in the darkness. However, a major was assigned to evaluate these issues and found that the issues were due to inadequate training. Now, with a brief excerpt of the history of this particular weapon, let's transfer over to the variant system and discuss what type of variants are available for this weapon. The 3 available variants are the M1909 Benet-Mercie Telescopic, the M1909 Benet-Mercie Optical, and last but certainly not least, we have the M1909 Benet-Mercie Storm. Since we've uncovered the 3 available variants, let's break down what each variant does in respect to the weapon that it has been attached to. For starters, we have the telescopic variant, which provides the user with the inclusion of a telescopic sight, thus it provides the user with better accuracy at medium ranges. Furthermore, it has been granted with a bipod for increased accuracy on appropriate surfaces. Next in line, we have the optical variant, which provides the user with the inclusion of an enhanced sight, thus it provides the user with better accuracy at medium-ranged engagements. And last but certainly not least, we have the storm variant, which provides the user with less recoil compared to alternative variants. Now that we've had the opportunity to further break down the variant system, let's move over to the weapon statistics since this is the most prominent information that you as a player will run into while utilizing this weapon. It is worth noting that we'll only be covering the information that is constant between all variants. As you may have been able to notice, each variant slightly changes some statistics depending on which variant the user has selected. So starting things off, the M1909 Benet-Mercie has a rounds per minute that clocks in at 450. Now this value is actually comparable to the real life counterpart, considering that in real life it had a fire rate that clocked in anywhere from 400 to 600 rounds per minute. Unfortunately, in Battlefield 1, this does place this weapon at the second slowest rounds per minute, right behind the Show light machine gun that was introduced in the most recent expansion for Battlefield 1. With that being said, a redeeming quality of this specific weapon is that it actually has a velocity that clocks in at 820 meters per second. This value ensures that rounds will be able to be deadly at medium and long range, considering that players will not have to lead their target nearly as much, especially at those distances. Now transferring over to the damage model, you guys will notice that rounds from this weapon will be doing a maximum of 23 damage up until 11 meters. Now after 11 meters, there'll be a gradual decline of the overall damage being outputted at range, and once we hit 35 meters, we'll be doing a minimum of 19 damage per round. Now to put this into layman's terms, all this really means is that this weapon is going to require anywhere from 3 to 6 rounds to down an individual player. Now it is highly recommended to attempt to couple a few headshots in there, considering that you will be dealing more damage per round, thus allowing you to save some ammunition for a future target. Now moving right along, this machine rifle does have a strip magazine capacity that adds up to 30 rounds. Regardless, at one point or another, you're going to be forced to have to reload this weapon. In any case, if you happen to maintain at least one round left in the strip magazine, you'll then be granted with a 2.6-second short reload. However, if you happen to expel all of your available ammunition in your strip magazine, you'll then be granted with a long reload that clocks in at 3.9 seconds. Now, while the customization in Battlefield 1 may be limited in comparison to previous Battlefield titles, this will leave you to wonder what type of engagements will this weapon be suited for, considering that it doesn't necessarily facilitate a run-and-gun playstyle. As history has shown us, this weapon can be utilized in a defensive capacity to push players off of objectives or to keep them from advancing onto key locations around the map. In addition, light machine guns are granted with increased suppression at medium and long ranges compared to other alternative weapon types. Furthermore, a hidden benefit that many players may not realize is occurring while utilizing these weapons is that they become more accurate the longer you hold down the trigger. So initially, light machine guns are incredibly inaccurate for the first few shots until a few rounds have went through the chamber to the point where they become more accurate the longer you hold down the trigger. But anyway guys, that's really all the information I have for you. Hopefully you found something in the video insightful and or entertaining. But until the next episode guys, this has been NMO. Now I'm going to be signing out guys. Peace!